Stepping out onto the field, man, you feel that energy hit you right away. All those towels, all those voices. It's wild. Been waiting a long time to see this view up close. Pittsburgh can't beat it.
What's up, everyone? This is Lincoln Lieber, and I'm ready to do an NFL Week 18 recap from all the games that were Saturday and Sunday. Before I start, my YouTube channel is Lincoln Lieber 1983. It has 435 subscribers. It has 1,102 videos and 289,204 views. All right, so let's get into it. This week 18 NFL final scores recap. Before I start, Cleveland Browns edge rusher Myles Garrett sets NFL single season sack record by taking down Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow in Week 18. Garrett secured the record Sunday against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals with his 23rd sack of the season. So congratulations to Myles Garrett for breaking this NFL single season sack record. All right, now here's the NFL Week 18 final score recap. There were two games Saturday. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Carolina Panthers 16-14. This Buccaneers win puts them at 8-9, and this Panthers loss drops them to 8-9. Bryce Young went 24 for 35 for 266 yards, and he had two touchdowns and one interception. Baker Mayfield went 16 for 22 for 203 yards, and he had one touchdown and one interception. The Seattle Seahawks beat the San Francisco 49ers 13-3. This Seahawks win puts them at 14-3, and this 49ers loss drops them to 12-5. Sam Darnold went 20 for 26 for 198 yards, and Brock Purdy went 19 for 27 for 127 yards, and he had one interception. Okay, on to the Sunday games. The Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Baltimore Ravens 26-24 to win the AFC North Division title. This Steelers win puts them at 10-7, and this Ravens loss drops them to 8-9. Aaron Rodgers went 31 for 47 for 294 yards, and he had one touchdown. Jaylen Warren had 14 carries for 66 yards. Lamar Jackson went 11 for 18 for 238 yards, and he had three touchdowns and one interception. Derrick Henry had 20 carries for 126 yards. So congratulations to the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right. The Atlanta Falcons beat the New Orleans Saints 19-17. This Falcons win puts them at 8-9, and this Saints loss drops them to 6-11. Kirk Cousins went 18 for 32 for 180 yards, and he had one touchdown and one interception. Tyler Slow went 23 for 35 for 259 yards, and he had one touchdown and one interception. The Cleveland Browns beat the Cincinnati Bengals 20-18. This Browns win today puts them at 5-12, and this Bengals loss drops them to 6-11. Shedeur Sanders went 11 for 22 for 111 yards. Joe Burrow went 29 for 39 for 236 yards, and he had three touchdowns and one interception. Dylan Sampson had 10 carries for 32 yards, and Chase Brown had 13 carries for 72 yards. The Green Bay Packers lost to the Minnesota Vikings 16-3. This Packers loss drops them to 9-7-1, and this Vikings win puts them at 9-8. Clayton Tune went 6 for 34, and J.J. McCarthy went 14 for 23 for 182 yards. The Packers made a field goal in the fourth quarter. The Dallas Cowboys lost to the New York Giants 34-17. This Giants win puts them at 4-13, and this Cowboys loss drops them to 7-9-1. Joe Milton II went 7 for 13 for 73 yards, and Dak Prescott went 7 for 11 and he had 70 yards. Jackson Dart went 22 for 32 for 230 yards, and he had two touchdowns. The Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Tennessee Titans 41-7. Cam Ward went 3 for 3 for 52 yards, and Brandon Allen went 17 for 30 for 72 yards. This Jaguars win puts them at 13-4, and this Titans loss drops them to 3-13. Okay, the Houston Texans beat the Indianapolis Colts. This Texans win puts them at 12-5, and this Colts loss drops them to 8-9. Riley Leonard went 21 for 34 for 270 yards, and he had two touchdowns and one interception. C.J. Stroud went 14 for 23 for 169 yards, and he had one touchdown. The Buffalo Bills beat the New York Jets 35-8. Brady Cook went 11 for 22 for 60 yards, and he had one touchdown. Mitch Trubisky went 22 for 29 for 259 yards, and he had four touchdowns. Detroit Lions beat the Chicago Bears 19-16. This Lions win puts them at 9-8, and this Bears loss drops them to 11-6. Jared Goff went 27 for 42 for 331 yards, and he had one touchdown and one interception. Caleb Williams went 20 for 33 for 212 yards. He had two touchdowns and one interception. Jahmyr Gibbs had 19 carries for 80 yards. DeAndre Swift had 10 carries for 40 yards. The Washington Commanders beat the Philadelphia Eagles 24-17. This Commanders win puts them at 5-12, and this Eagles loss drops them to 11-6. Josh Johnson for the Commanders went 14 for 22 for 131 yards. He had one touchdown and one interception. Tamir McKee went 21 for 40 for 241 yards, and he had one touchdown and one interception. The New England Patriots beat the Miami Dolphins 38-10. This Patriots win puts them at 14-3, and this Dolphins loss drops them to 7-10. Quinn Ewers went 16 for 23 for 137 yards, and he had one touchdown and one interception. Drake May went 14 for 18 for 191 yards, and he had one touchdown. Joshua Dobbs went 3 for 4 for 22 yards. The Denver Broncos beat the Los Angeles Chargers 19-3. This Broncos win puts them at 14-3, and this Chargers loss drops them to 11-6. Trey Lance went 20 for 44 for 136 yards, and he had one interception. Bo Nix went 14 for 23 for 141 yards. The Las Vegas Raiders beat the Kansas City Chiefs 14-12. This Chiefs loss drops them to 6-11, and this Raiders win puts them at 3-14. Aiden O'Connell went 10 for 22 for 102 yards. Shane Buechele went 7 for 14 for 88 yards. Chris Oladekam went 11 for 17 for just 58 yards. Ashton Jenney had 26 carries for 87 yards. The Los Angeles Rams beat the Arizona Cardinals 37-20. This Rams win puts them at 12-5, and this Cardinals loss drops them to 3-14. Matthew Stafford went 25 for 40 for 259 yards, and he had 4 touchdowns. Jacoby Brissett went 22 for 31 for 243 yards, and he had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. All right, that's going to include my my NFL week 18 games. Now I have a few other things I'm gonna touch on, then I'll be done. Current playoff bracket, as everything stands right now. The number 4 seed Pittsburgh Steelers play at the number 5 Houston Texans. That game is January the 12th. The number 6 seed Buffalo Bills play at the number 3 seed Jacksonville Jaguars. That game is January the 11th. The number 7 seed Los Angeles Chargers play at the number 2 seed New England Patriots. That game is January the 11th. The Denver Broncos have a first round bye in the AFC. All right. The number 4 Carolina Panthers play at the number 5 Los Angeles Rams. That game is January the 10th. The San Francisco 49ers have the 6th seed. They play at the number 3 seed Philadelphia Eagles. That game is January the 11th. The Green Bay Packers play the Chicago Bears. That game is January the 10th. Green Bay is the 7th seed, and the Bears are the 2nd seed. The Seattle Seahawks have a first round bye in the NFC East. Well, in the NFC division. Okay. The Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Falcons fired Raheem Morris and general manager Terry Fontenot on Sunday night after 2 straight disappointing seasons. Their exits came hours after Atlanta wrapped up an 8-9 campaign with a 19-17 home win over the New Orleans Saints. Fontenot had been with the Falcons since 2021, and Raheem Morris was hired in 2024. This is my last bit of information. The divisional round is January the 17th and January the 18th. Two divisional round games will be Saturday and 2 will be Sunday. The Broncos and the Seahawks will play their first playoff games during the divisional round. Okay, this is going to conclude this live. I appreciate you all for tuning in and watching it. Let me start from the beginning. Let me end how I started. My YouTube channel name is Lincoln Lieberman 1903. It has 435 subscribers. It has 1,102 videos and 289,204 views. Okay, so continue to subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much.